Hello and welcome to Conquering Mount Scrapmore with Brenda. I'm Brenda and we're here today. We're going to show you what I do with a mountain of scrap donations. My friend has given me a bunch of scraps that she no longer wants, needs, or she finds just it's not working for her anymore. And she knows I make charity quilts. So she was hoping that I could take her scraps, use them up, and now I'm going to show you how I go through this pile of scraps. Now we're not going to go through the entire pile because it could take days, but this is not an overwhelming task, okay? So come on and join me over at the ironing board. Okay, we're at the ironing board, and the first thing we're going to do is I've got all of my pile of scraps, right? And this is way pretty much, I pulled out all the really big pieces out of this donation, but it's now going through all the little stuff, or the smaller stuff, or the odd shaped stuff. Now, if I have stuff like this, you know, this is Northcott fabric. I know it's a cotton. So what I would do is I would just, you know, give it a quick press just to get all the wrinkles out. And I would maybe trim off the selvage. I don't have to trim off the selvage, but you know, my scissors are here. You need good fabric scissors. So now I'm going to put this in with my crumbs. So I make a pile for crumbs, and I grab the next piece, and this hasn't got any like weird things, but there's some weird little angle bits and bobs on here. So I have to decide, okay, am I going to make a long string, or am I going to make two crumbs? Because this is a fairly large piece, right? So basically, it's make a decision and just run with it. You know, just make it happen. So I'm going to go with two smaller crumb pieces, and the rest of this can go into the garbage, right? So I've got two really interesting little pieces for crumbs. Now, depending on where I'm at, I might need strings. Now, this piece here is too small. Well, it's a weird shape, but it's also not on grain. So the grain's running this way and this way. I would put that in with my strings. So I'm making just another pile. You go through and you make decisions based on what you're dealing with. Now I have a bunch of triangles here, and they're all cotton. And the one here, I have a stash of triangles for the Bonnie Hunter Crazy Pineapple quilt that I do when I want to relax. And I'll link the show notes to Bonnie Hunter. And it's in one of her books. I'm not sure which book it's in, but I do this whenever I'm stressed out, and I just always keep like triangles all go there. And when I make a quilt, then I take all these larger triangles, sew them all together into pairs or whatever. So I would keep these I would just chuck them right into my stash of weird triangles that I'm going to use for my pineapple thing. Bits and bobs like this are definitely crumbs. The next thing I'm looking for are strings or stuff I can cut other pieces out of. Now I took this piece apart from its mate. Now I'm just going to iron it flat, and this would make a perfect 1.5 inch strip. Or I could see maybe it is a 2-inch strip already, and that I just iron it back and I get rid of all the little pieces I pulled apart off of it, and I would have that. I could put that in with my strings, and again I would don't forget to put neutrals in with your strings as well. Like I would go through and I would maybe mine out all the 1.5 inch strings I could get out of this, right? But basically you iron, you make a decision, you iron it, and off you go. Like you don't sit there, well, I don't know what to do with this, right? So, and sometimes too, I would make the decision, okay, I'm not going to sit and cut today, but I will put all the stuff, I'm going to try and mine my 2-inch or 2.5 inch strips. Like this is a 2.5 inch strip. I don't have a ruler handy, so I'm going to put it with, okay, let's see what I can get, what kind of size strip I can get out of it. Right, so just give it all a quick press, and, you know, kind of like straighten it out just a bit. Now, this piece here is definitely string because it's an odd shape, because of the odd shape and size, and I just put that into my string pile. I don't even look back on this stuff. I just, okay, make a decision, move forward. This is a perfect little crumb, and it would make a lovely scrap. So now it's a matter of, okay, let's flip it over, let's see what the grain is, and just cut out larger size pieces of where this is. I want to make it squarish. It doesn't have to be perfectly square. I could also, if it was a bigger piece, I might consider ripping it, but that's a cute little crumb, right? Now, the other reason why I'm ironing, just not only to make it flat, but to test for polyester. If you've got a really hot iron, let's say it's set on cotton linen setting, you can tell very quickly whether something is polyester or not, just by the way it smells when you hit the iron with it. Now this is, and I don't use polyester even in my scrap quilts, so, or my charity quilts. I figure those people have had a hard time, they need something really nice. So now I would put this something this size. You know, okay, do I have a lot of white crumbs? I would put this in with my white scraps. And I have everything close at hand, so it's just a matter of open the drawer, put it in. Right? So, but see, this is pink. Now this is probably too small to go into my scrap box, so I would put this into my crumbs. Right? Because it's just too tiny for me to deal with. Let's see, let's get some other bigger pieces here. Hang on. I'll show you what I'm talking about. Okay, this is an odd shaped piece, and it's a cotton. It's a lovely cotton, actually. So what I would do with this, something like this, I'd give it a quick press just to get all the wrinkles out. But I'm going to make just a little clip, rip it, give it another quick iron along the ripped edge. Right? Just to flatten this out just a bit better. I'm going to give it a good... Now, the other thing with this, it's not square. So I'm just going to give it another snip like that. Give it another quick pull. There we go. And now I have a nice little crumb with straight of grain, right? Because I've ripped the straight of grain. And some people say, oh, don't do that. And it's like, well, you know, you do you best. I can rip faster sometimes than I can cut. I would take this as a crumb, and this piece now is still a little wonky, but I can take this and just give it a little snip here, rip it again. So now I have a more rectangular piece to draw from that I can put into my orange scraps, and I have a strip piece that I can mine a strip from, like a 2-inch or 2.5 inch or 1.5 inch strip from. This I fold up and put this in my scrap box because it's too big for a crumb, but it would work for other things. Now I'm going to pull out this broadcloth. I think this might very well be poly, and I have a bag or a place where I set all my polyester, and I chop it up and I use it for dog beds, stuffers, and all you have to do is give it a sniff, and you know that this is polyester. And this is a broadcloth. In the last 20 years, all broadcloth is like 100% polyester. So what I would do is I would just cut it up into shreds, into little blocks like this, just so it, you know, I'm not tempted to use it. And then I would use it for dog bed stuffing or footstool stuffing or whatever. But it would probably go to dog beds for the Humane Society or for people who foster dogs. They give them foster home until they can find a real home. So that's what I would do with that. Very quick, very decisive way of doing this. Okay, what else have I got in here? Sometimes I have stuff that has been sewn. The first thing I do, now this sewn edge is right here, a raw sewn edge. Now I think this was a napkin, but right away, I don't even have to heat it up that much, and I smell the polyester on it, right? Again, I throw it out, and we're off, we're done, we're gone. It's all chopped up, and it doesn't take long to chop this up, by the way. When you get into the rhythm of, okay, it's polyester, it dyes, and that's your decision that you're making, it's very quick. Very, very quick. It's a lovely color, unfortunately, but I mean, I could use it for Kawandi, but I have lots of crumbs now, so I'm good. Let me cut it up into different sizes, and, you know, there we go. Now, the biggest piece here is too small for anything. Okay. So, I think that's about it. Like, if I come across stuff that's been sewn together, like this, right? I decide whether or not I want to pick it apart or use it as string. And with things that are this small, I just use them as string. This is a cute little thing. It'll go really cutely into a string quilt, so I just leave it together and move it on. I do take time out to sort out things like that are Christmas prints. Like I would take these two and maybe, you know, sew them together and make a rectangle out of it so that I could use it in a Christmas Kawandi. But that's about it. Like, I just go through and I take my time. That's the best advice I can give you. Just go through, make a decision on each piece as you go through. Some of the pieces are larger, and you see from the bottom selvage that they are cotton. Okay, like, let's see. Ooh, let's get this one out. This one is so cute. This is so beautiful. This piece here, this is you know, they're talking like this is a cotton. It's about the same. It's a little heavier than normal quilting cotton, but it is just divine. So I would take that, you know, look to see if there was any weird shaped pieces, because I'm a little OCD, and I would take it and fold it, and because of the multicolors in this, I would add it to my fabric stash of multicolored prints. So that's pretty much how I go through these things, and I am always grateful to accept donations. If you're looking for scrap donations, sometimes the best place to go is the guilds or thrift stores. You can support a thrift store by, you know, saying, hey, look, I'm making quilts, and any scrap fabric you have, you can go to, if you join a guild, if you're part of a guild, I'm sure there's guild members that would be glad to depart some of their scraps. I mean, I imagine they're kind of in the same place I am, so. But yeah, I hope this helps what you're doing. It's just to be decisive and, you know, work with what you've got and just sort as you iron. Just go through it, come up with a plan, and then just stick with the plan and move through the fabric. It's not an overwhelming task now. Okay? Well, I hope you enjoyed this kind of video. This gives you maybe a little bit insight of what's going on in my brain when we get scraps or when we're working with scraps. Remember, it's kind of like, okay, the stuff I'm going to put in my scrap box, the stuff I'm going to mine right away for cut strips, like 1.5, 2 inch, 2.5, because that's the only thing I keep. If you keep larger ones, keep that in mind too. You might want to make ones for 3.5 or 4.5. That's entirely up to you. I make a pile that I'm going to put into my crumb collection right away, and I've got my crumbs now sorted by color because I've got enough of them. So I always keep a separate, okay, this is for crumbs and strings. Now any piece blocks like this, or partially piece blocks like this, I throw in with my strings because I can throw them into a string block and they look really cute. So anyways, I hope this was kind of helpful. If you have weird pieces, like this was 2 kind of triangles from an end project, like like I could take this project here and make a little block out of it by sewing it together and using it up as an orphan block. That you can do that too, right? So don't forget, you have other uses and things that you can do with these. But what I did is I made a little Christmas block, because this is all Christmas fabric on this one. So I'm going to put this in with my Christmas cart, and I'm going to use it as part of a Christmas Kawandi that I'm going to be working on again. Yes, Christmas started in May this year, so I was starting to make Christmas gifts already in May, and now it's Christmas in July, and I've made one gift. So I have to get busy. So, but this is the kind of thing that I do with them, just to keep them more squarish. That's all. That's all I'm doing with it, is keeping it squarish. So, anyways, I hope you had fun with this video and learned something. I hope you have a awesome, just absolutely awesome week ahead. And my husband and I are so happy how our channel is growing. Our little channel is growing. It's wonderful. Share, like, subscribe, share with your friends. Tell your friends and gills about us, okay? You take care. Okay, bye! My husband and I would like to thank you for watching today. We're so happy about the way our channel has grown, and we just want to wish you so well in your journey along with us. Please like, share, and subscribe, and tell your friends. Now, the next thing is this quilt. We are wondering if you guys would like this quilt as a free sew along on this channel this fall, this coming fall, winter. We were kind of thinking that this one would be really fun to do. We could do it in a larger size or a smaller size, it's up to you, but this one was a lot of fun to make. And it's all, it lends itself to being hand stitched, but you can also do this on a sewing machine as well. So let us know in the comments below. Remember, share, like, subscribe, tell your friends. Okay, have a great week ahead. Bye!